There's a lot of different teachings around want. Napolean Hill, people like that would say you got to have a burning desire, which is an extreme form of want to accomplish a goal. And it makes sense because the want, if you got a burning desire and it's really powerful and it's real, it's not forced, because some people try to force a want, right? That's a big mistake. They want something, but they don't really want something, so they try to make themselves want it, and that'll always fail. But if you have a real want for something, or a real burning desire, then that points you in the direction of where you're willing to go. And so the belief behind that is, I've got this really strong want, and if I amp it up, like I say, if I come up with 20 reasons I want this thing to the point where I can't stop thinking about it, then I will do whatever it takes to get it. And that's a trait of really successful people. I want this, I'm gonna make it happen. But there's a problem. There's a plus and a minus in that. If the want is really strong, it's easy to move into choice and say, I'm gonna do whatever it takes, if you have strong self-esteem and you're in a really healthy emotional state around it. So if I feel really good, I believe I can accomplish my goals, I believe in myself, I have a really good attitude, my want is really strong, then I'm gonna move right into choice, which means I'm gonna take action, I'm gonna accomplish the goal. I'm gonna go for it, I'm gonna figure it out. But if your want is really strong and you have low self-esteem, and your energy and your emotional state is really low, let's say you're down in grief and apathy and things like that, then the want has a reverse effect. It causes negative faith. It causes this sense of pushing away everything you want. Because every time you think about the thing you want, you also associate it with pain. And so the pain causes you to want to, your nervous system, to want to get the thing that you want out of your life, because your nervous system sees it as more pain if you get it. Okay? It's a pain-pleasure principle. But if you want something, you have this strong sense of self-esteem and you're in cap in relation to what you want. You're up there in the courage, acceptance, peace, love energy in relation to what you want. Then when you go to think about the thing you want, you get excited. You get drawn to it. Matter of fact, one thought compounds and has another thought and has another thought and another thought, and you start moving right towards the thing you want by choice. You say, what do I need to do to get it? I need to get online, research this, I need to talk to this person. Have you ever take up a hobby or something that you want to learn that you just couldn't get enough of? Like you thought about it all day long. And because of that, you learn really fast, you process really fast, but there was no resistance to it. You didn't have any self-esteem issues around accomplishing the goal, right? Like we have one person in a program who is a professional musician, guitar player, phenomenal. I think he's only been playing guitar 8 years or so. And he's already a studio musician, somebody's building a band around him. He's phenomenal. But when I talked to him, he said the day I picked up a guitar, I couldn't put it down. I played it all day long. I would stay up all night and not go to bed in high school playing the guitar. My mom, because I was getting bad grades, I was playing guitar all the time, took the guitar away from me, he said. And so I found another one in a trash can walking down the street, an old beat up one, and I kind of fixed it up and I would snuck it in the house, and at night I'd be in the bathroom all night practicing on it because I couldn't stop playing it. Do you see that his want was in a certain alignment that took him right into choice, and the life provided opportunities, a guitar and a trash can that most people wouldn't even think of. And he saw opportunity, like, I'm going to play this guitar, I'm going to do this. How about these keyboardists that learn to play the piano and they don't even have a piano, but they get a mock keyboard and they just practice hitting all the notes over and over, and they practice because their want is so strong, their desire, their passion is so strong, they don't have a piano, so they're going to work on whatever they got. And all that positive emotion associates learning. Like when you love something, you learn fast, you come up with new ideas, you process fast. But when you're beating yourself up, you're attacking yourself, you believe it's going to be hard to get, your attitude's bad, then you start pushing it away. All the reasons why not get compounded, and as they get compounded, your nervous system says, let's just get this out of our life. And you're saying, no, I want this. Your nervous system says, but it's going to cause you more pain, so we're going to make sure you get it out of your life. We'll just cause more pain, more problems, more challenges, more roadblocks till you give up. The thing isn't the problem, it's your attitude towards the thing. And that's why I was saying the attitude shift is essential. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. So how do you move into, or I guess you'll say go into cap? About whatever it is that you have this one about.
You got to focus on shifting your attitude towards the thing that you want.
Sorry to interrupt. What exercises can you do, like, on a day-to-day basis to just...
Well, that's what the morning ritual is. The morning ritual is all about shifting your attitude. It's not just about, like, you guys get up in the morning and maybe you'll focus on a goal, and that's great. But if you got an attitude problem about the goal or life, why don't you focus on shifting your whole attitude? What kind of attitude do you want? What does a good attitude look like? You know, for example, one of my mentors, David Nagel, he said the first thing he did, the very first thing was instinctual, because he'd never studied personal growth. So he said, the only thing I knew to do, because he said his life sucked, he was a forklift driver, $20,000 a year, had 2 or 3 kids, mortgage, barely making any money, struggling, and he said, I got to change my life. And he said he heard a voice in his head that said, change your attitude. And I thought, well, what does that mean? So he goes, the only thing I could do was I modeled the most successful person I knew, which was the owner of his company. And that guy had a good attitude about life. He walked in and looked like he enjoyed what he did every day. That was one. Number 2, he treated everybody with respect. And number 3, I think there was one third thing, like he never spoke negative to anybody or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And he said, so I wrote those 3 things down on a card, and every day I practiced those 3 things. I tried to remember his name. I said hi to everybody. I walked in and said, what can I love about this job today? What else can I love about this job? With releasing, you can start releasing all the resistance that comes up. And then, so he's working on the attitude, right? Do you see that? And then he started, and he said, when I did that, people thought, they freaked out at first, because normally I'm the angry, grumpy guy. You know, he said, I'd come in, I'd be at everybody, and suddenly here's this new guy coming in the door, and they're like, they don't trust it at first, you know. Like, who's this guy? Okay, there's something weird going on with him, taking drugs or something. And then he started to shift, and over time, within a few months, suddenly he said, I couldn't see opportunity to get out of this $20,000 a year job anywhere. I wanted to get to 40,000, is what he said, and within a few months, I surpassed the 40,000 with an opportunity that had been there the whole time, but I couldn't see it because my attitude was so negative. And then that quickly took him to 60-some thousand dollars a year. And he just kept growing. And so he kept working on himself, and he never stopped after that. Now he's a multimillionaire, many, many, many times over. But a lot of people try to get goals without changing the way they look at life, their philosophies about life, their attitude about life. So that's why we got all the philosophies you can study, and you can principle. Those are actions and ways of being. But under what drives the philosophies is your attitude. Do you like yourself? Do you like life? Do you believe life is hard? Do you believe life is easy? Do you believe life? You see what I mean? It's all what you believe. If you believe life is hard, it's going to be hard. If you believe life is easy, it's going to be easy. Positive reality, we talk about that, right? And so when you start to get lighter in your base energy, like if your base energy is grief all the time, yeah, life is going to be a drag. But if your base energy is a little higher on the scale, it's going to get easier. When you start living in a base, like your daily base of somewhere around courage, or a lighter energy, yeah, you're still going to go up and down. You're going to hit grief sometime and up, but your base, like your baseline, is right there. Then life is going to be beautiful overall. When you look at somebody like Richard Branson, does he feel light all the time when you see him in interviews? And look at all the stuff he manifests and how fast he manifests. Who here has gone up the emotional scale in their life? Okay. And how much easier do things come to you now? You notice that and to resolve things is faster now? Like you talk about it. How hard was it to get all that investment money?
To start with, yeah, before I came to America, I used to hate going out to visit agents and meet investors, and that side of it was hating it, and even going to properties and viewing them, like, how the hell is this going to work? But now I go out, I'm getting excited about it. So
you feel what emotional state when you go out now? Because obviously you felt a really low emotional state before. Now you feel
there's still some fear there, but it's an excitement fear.
But it's light, right? Overall, it's light.
Yeah.
And so what happens now that you're in this lighter place, this higher emotional state in relation to doing this?
Oh, yes, things come to me, money comes to me.
So you couldn't get any money before for your investments.
Yeah.
Now how much money have you gotten in like the last month, 2 months, is it?
Last 2 months, yeah, investment money of nearly $500,000.
$500,000 has come to them. So do you see the difference? The emotions tell you how much of a magnet to getting what you want you are. If you're low on the scale, they work in reverse. They repel what you want. When you're high on the emotional scale, they pull towards you what you want. And most people are still trying to get what they want without changing their baseline energy. And then they wonder why they're still tripping over themselves every morning. It doesn't work. You're going against the laws and the way things work. That's why we have you guys work so much on who you're being inside to get your goals. Who you're being before you move a finger. Who you're being before you speak that day. Who you're being before you walk out the door. And yeah, sometimes you got to push through it with intention for a while to break up the old energies, penetrate the old energies and push through really powerful intention, and that works too. But then you got to keep dissolving the energies till you start to rise up the scale, which is what we're doing right now. So he's getting his success, but it's a lot of work. But his intention is so high, he's penetrating the grief and the apathy and getting the results, which is then going to give him the reference points to break up the grief, the reality to break up the grief and to go higher and higher and higher up on the scale. And then pretty soon he'll just be like, wow, life is easier. And it is. You see a difference in him. It's a big difference. Just yesterday, talking to him was different, sitting in the review. Okay? And when you push people away and you keep people at bay, it's really hard to get anything in your life. Because everything comes to you through people, not any one person, but through people. And if you're not letting people into your life, how can life give you things? You can't just sit there and not connect to people and expect to receive things in life that you need just to get by. If you're going to receive money, it has to come through people, right? It doesn't just appear in your life. Whether it's a client, whether it's a job, there's going to be people involved, right? If you want to fall in love, that comes through another person. You want to go on a date, that comes through another person. You want to go get investment money, that comes through people. If you want to create let's say you're a computer programmer and you say, well, my job doesn't involve people, I just write code. Well, there's still people buying that code, using that code, right? It all comes through people. And if one person disappears, a new one will show up. So being in relationship to everybody around you in a good attitude and a good emotional state is essential to success. And if you manage to succeed in life without being in a good emotional state, which you can do through state pumping and pushing and then not working on yourself, as you get bigger, you'll get less happy. Because the success will compound the self-esteem. And if the self-esteem is low, it compounds it. Some people can manage that. They can grow to a certain size and manage it. But if they get any bigger, they have to shrink themselves. And they're not happy usually. And usually they grow old. Like, you ever notice those people that push and they get old really fast in life? They get illnesses and problems, right? But the people that love what they do, that are passionate about getting up every day for what they do, they tend to live pretty long, happy lives. I'm looking at all these crazy billionaires out there that are self-made, that just can't stop getting up every day doing stuff. And they all live to be 80, 90, 100 years old. It amazes me. Even the ones I don't like. There's one in particular, George Soros, right? He's 87 now, still going after everything with a passion, right? Looks like shit, because I don't think he's a happy guy, but that drive keeps him going. So, any questions about that? Awesome. To focus on one thing at a time. And when we focus on one thing at a time, we really have this ability to really put some powerful energy into the accomplishment of that goal. So that's not true, and there's a part of me that doubted it, but then believed it, and I went back and forth, and I had to do a lot of work on myself in this area. I used to also have the other belief where, why do I have to work on myself, and why aren't women out working on themselves a lot? And I want to